do this.
Yeah. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Hi, I stared directly at light.
That was brilliant.
Why? Ow.
So, we are back.
I'm good. Thank you. I don't want to be a rock star. Thank you. Or a creeper.
See, that just put I want to be a rock star in my head now.
Hey, I want to be a rock star.
I mean, the paycheck would be nice.
It depends.
But I have the hair for it. But welcome back.
For a hair metal band.
Yeah.
I mean, hair metal bands were great. All you had to do is be relevant for like a month, get a big paycheck, and then retire.
You also had to tease your hair out into an afro, because universally all hair metal bands had afros.
Yeah, I had to go out to here, yeah?
Yeah, it was all curly hair, no matter what.
Actually, I had a dream you were a rock star. And you were like really rich.
Why is William
Are you
rich
sure
in
you-
all of your dreams?
I don't know!
Are
Maybe
you
it's
sure
just
it was
his
a dream
fate.
about William and not a dream about Dave Grohl?
Do I look like Dave Grohl?
You look like if somebody took Dave Grohl and squeezed all the talent out of him.
I don't actually know who that is.
Hi, we're here to actually play
Hi.
tabletop
Sorry.
RPGs. That's
doing?
I just stopped staring at lights.
Well, here, let me hold that.
It's good. Thank you.
Hi. Welcome back to Warcraft RPG.
Am I wrong?
No, he does not look like someone squeezed. What?
Like if you dehydrated him.
if by dehydrated you mean put in a dehydrator. No.
I was gonna say William looks like he could be related to him,
Yeah.
but not if you dehydrate him.
It's okay, he's my brother. It's his job to insult me. Routinely.
A zombie version.
Anyway, we're back. Welcome back to the Warcraft RPG Storm, Earth, and Fire. I am William, and I am the storyteller for this Warcraft 5th Edition, D&D 5th Edition Warcraft campaign. There we go.
This thing.
Yes, this thing we were creating.
I have been working for a long time on, damn it. And let's go ahead and introduce our player characters, starting with John.
I'm John. I'm playing Garrett Cloudspeaker, an orc paladin, an orc spirit champion, and I brought a prop. This is not the it's not the right design, but to scale it's correct. I don't know how much of that was on camera.
Just about all of it.
Okay.
Nothing else was on camera, mind you, because it didn't fit.
And Holly.
I did not come prepared with prop. I could rip my left arm off, but I'm not going to.
I mean, could you?
I bet with enough.
I mean,
effort.
how's that claw going? Because that would be her prop.
Still trying to work on the shape of things.
Spring
break, it'll happen. Which will be next week.
I'm playing
That sentence has
Shiana.
been said a lot.
I'm Shiana Flamecarver.
I mean, yeah.
She's an orc. She has one arm. She's an assassin rogue thing.
I guess you were reading that like
Yeah.
it was off of a...
Yes.
Yes.
Because
Maybe.
All that's on their character sheet
been a
is
while.
orc, one arm, assassin, rogue.
Maybe.
I thought we were off script for this session.
I'm sorry. I'm not there yet.
Man, the writers have really gone downhill.
And Austin.
Hi, I'm the one who doesn't have a script because my character is a mute. Well, no, my character is a dumb troll, and he has Sneck friend, who is a friend, who is a Sneck, and has wings, because winged Sneck friend is best Sneck friend.
Let's see, if we were on a script, Austin would say his character's name.
Yeah, have you seen?
Still wouldn't.
You've never been backstage with me, have you? You've never seen what I do to scripts. I don't read my lines. I get the gist of it and make the rest up.
True. Troll's name is Jangatal, Wild Walker. And Rudy.
Hey, I'm Rudy. I'm playing Brick Earth Whisperer, Rune Knight Tauren.
And Zachary.
Hey, I'm Zach. I'm playing Leaf Ironmender, the half-orc tinker priest of the Holy Light.
And Stan.
And I'm trying to play Josh, the techno mystic tinker goblin type.
Goblin type.
Yes.
Techno Mystic Tinker Goblin type.
That's a weird Pokemon.
A goblin type.
That was like a Gundam thing. It's like you have new types and Goblin types.
Is that like a counterpart to the fairy type?
Or it's a Gundam Pokemon crossover.
Yes.
I could see your character being a Gundam Pokemon crossover, actually.
I mean, that was just what was that?
Where like you throw,
What was that mini Gundam? Oh yeah, that's just a mini Gundam.
like you throw your Pokeball,
Yeah,
and then a little Gundam flies out and shoots your enemies. That's absolutely your style.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't have to be a little Gundam.
No, that's Crag bolting style. Is when it's a full-on Gundam.
Metabots.
In other words, him if he had more money.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Cry bolting style was tinker with too much money.
Crag bolting
Yeah,
style
no, I'm saying,
was.
like, I'm being
Is it
more
bolted
specific.
down?
Yeah.
It'll take longer to loot.
Anyway, when last we left off,
I never did loot those statues.
no, you didn't.
No, we couldn't get him out. Actually, that's why I have my insurance.
You want to go back and do that now?
Yes, let's do that.
All you have to do is ask
Leaf.
Sapphire. Sapphire will be like, "Oh, this is rock. Poke. Here, it's hand size."
So, when last we left,
And then reality collapses in on you and you all die.
the
Not playing mage.
the group of you,
Medivh
Medivh is playing Mage.
Medivh plays Mage on Rest of Warcraft.
The group of you had made your way towards the Eastern Kingdoms and arrived in the Undercity. After a long bout of conversation and an amount of figuring out directions, the group of you began to make your way southeast toward the Twilight Highlands, formerly just known as the Highlands.
I'm riding a giant spirit wolf.
Yeah,
They're riding undead skeletons.
skeleton horses.
Those two are riding in the cart.
Yep. Yes.
I was pointing at the two of you.
Yes.
As the
The three of us are in the car, specifically.
we last left off as the group of you managed to reach the bulwark, which divides Tirisfal Glades from the Western Plague Lands.
He's not even in the room.
It's really cold over here, specifically.
And
Well, just because you have a void where your heart is, you can't play the rest of the room for us.
Yes, I can.
Is it his void or William's void?
Combined.
yeah, the two of us combined make it drop like 40 degrees just by heat cycle.
With your powers combined?
Yes. Without powers combined.
But we pick up. The group awakens the next morning after they set. No, actually, you were in the middle of the day. When we left.
Yeah.
You had the night's rest beforehand. So as you arrive at the bulwark, this large, purplish black stone wall that forms that connects and bridges the mountain range, small mountains that divide Tirisfal Glades from the Western Plaguelands as we know them. As you approach, your caravan is called to a halt by one of the Forsaken Guards, who approaches whoever is at the front. So the Forsaken Guard just kind of approaches and, "What business do you have entering the Plaguelands?"
What was the, first of all, what was the name of our company again?
The Soaring Fang?
Sorry, what was the...
The Arathi Highlands? Or the...
Heading for the Highlands. Sorry, the Arathi Highlands are separate highlands that are nearby, but not the same.
And what were you heading there for again?
Dealing with the Twilight's Hammer.
We were investigating rumors about the Twilight's Hammer in the area, seeing if we can solve the problems, and if on the way we encounter, what's his name? The Black Knight?
Yes.
Yes.
And she's literally called the Black.
And so, the very question is, who gave us the contract?
The
It's not a contract. It's an ongoing.
It's an ongoing bounty.
This is just a hey.
Bounty for the Horde.
Okay.
Yeah, this is not a specific do this one thing. This is a help.
We are members of the Soaring Fang Guild, heading out towards the Highlands to hunt some Twilight Hammer on behalf of the Horde.
Very well. You'll have to give us just a moment to give at least cursory search of your wagon. He says, looking over at the large wagon with piles of junk in it.
Piles of junk. What are you looking for? I got one of those right here.
Checking for anything potentially dangerous crossing over the border into scourge-infested lands. The remnants are less dangerous without organization, but remnants of the cult of the damned still exist, and dangers are still present.
You've been having issue with the cult.
Cult spies pop up every now and then.
Anything we should be aware of?
Well, don't get too close to Anderhall. Everything should be relatively fine, and stay even further away from Cardaro and Scolamance.
Is the cult of the Dam operating?
The cult of the damned has never been fully ousted from the schools underneath Cardaro and Scolamance. Their presence has been heavily dampened, but they still exist. There have been recent undead activity on the rise. He looks at of the Scourge variety. He says, fully acknowledging he is also undead. Within Anderhall, not to mention an increased alliance presence, meaning that conflict has been escalating. Our forces, being led by Commander Thessarian, have been dealing with both the Scourge and the Alliance in the fight for Anderhall.
We shall be sure to steer clear
And he sort of gives a wave, and a couple other Forsaken step up and just take a look through the wagon to make sure there's nothing particularly dangerous in it.
Are you hiding any cult of the Damned relic in that wagon, Josh?
No, but they might find a little, couple little springwood things.
Now's not the right time for the joy buzzer.
They take a look, see it's mostly technological devices and nothing that is of immediate concern.
Okay.
And they don't want to breathe on it too hard. Oh wait, that's not a concern.
It's not a concern. And they give a nod to the guard captain, who looks at the group of you. All right, welcome to the Plague Lands. You won't have to worry about contracting anything anymore. The druids have done good work. Until you get to the eastern Plague Lands, then keep watching out.
Thank you for the advice and for the information.
No, I suppose if you're heading for the Highlands, you'll be heading south anyway. In which case, watch out, you'll be entering Alliance territory.
No problem.
For the Dark Lady. You pass through, and what he said doesn't quite mean as much to those of you who are not native, which is none of you. But you,
I was born here.
not in the Plaguelands area. No, formerly Lord of Rome.
No, I was born south. I was born in Stormwind areas.
Yeah.
No, the camps were.
Several of them were, but there were internment camps all throughout.
Because we're near Durnhold.
Durnhold is still further south. Yeah. Durnhold is in the Arathi Highlands.
We're heading
we're
toward-
trying. Yeah, we're
heading
going
towards
to where
where
you're from. We're
where I'm
passing
from.
through
Yeah.
a different area to get there.
But the you, having originally lived among the Alliance for some time, remember when the Plaguelands was spoken of with regret, sadness, and revulsion, as this blighted place full of nothing but disease and the walking dead, place where ghouls and ghosts roamed as easily as did the diseased and plagued animals that still lived, and even the plant life was racked with disease and woe. very little trace of that still exists as you arrive within the new confines of the Western Plaguelands. The trees seem to be growing healthily, and immediately the darkness of Tiriswal Glades almost immediately across the bulwark begins to lift as sun begins to peek through the not quite so permanent cloud cover. Can you text Mother the screen?
No.
I forgot to give her the link. The light that peeks through the clouds immediately being an uplifting change from the constant semi-darkness of Tiriswal Glades even during the day. And as you listen, you can hear birdsong and the sounds of animals that are living here healthily and not under diseased protest. As the sudden change of this place really strikes home, you being the one who really appreciate it. And even then, not quite so much, because you've never actually been here, you've only heard the stories.
Yeah. What do these spirits feel like in this area?
Recovering. There's definitely been much pain there. They are on the mend, shall we say.
In the land itself?
It's in a similar state.
What sort of, is there any, is it the sort of wildlife you would expect? Rodents, small snake, like small reptiles, bugs?
Zombie bears.
No longer zombie bears, just bears. No longer diseased bears, I should say.
So the world is recovering in this area.
Yeah. Which is saying a lot considering how the rest of the world is at. But this area wasn't, as far as you can tell, hit as much by the cataclysm. And it does strike a couple of you to be a somewhat jarring notion of how so much of the world is suffering, and yet there are places like this that seem to finally be recovering from so much.
Keep our senses open for a sign of Alliance activity. It would not be well for us to be caught unawares.
What kind of things would we be looking out for, like, at this point? Would it be, like, patrols or actual outposts or
You
something?
know, you're about 8 hours out from Anderhall.
The bulwark is the last sort of line of clearly defined Horde territory in this area, isn't it?
Yeah, and Anderhall is the contested area.
Yeah.
You're about 8 hours out from Anderhall, and you know that you have to pass south past Anderhall to get to the wetlands, which are your most easily accessible route into the Highlands. Is to go down into the wetlands and cross east through Loch Bodan into the Highlands.
But as for what we might be looking out for Alliance activity, it's people trying to sneak into the bulwark. Like scouting parties or stealth parties that are trying to bypass the fighting in Anderhall could very potentially be between us and where we're going.
Makes sense.
Because we're heading towards Alliance territory now. We're out. We're officially in the middle ground between Horde and Alliance territory.
Are we
I've
going
got a map though to kind of.
Are we going like straight through Alliance or like on the outskirts?
Well, we will end up inside Alliance territory. Won't
The wetlands is considered Alliance territory,
we? Yeah.
and so is Loch Bodan. So the big thing is you've basically Anderhall is sort of the focal point of all the fighting. You've got the Horde coming in from the west, from the bulwark, and you've got the Alliance coming in from the south, from the wetlands, and the Scourge coming in from the east, from the eastern Plaguelands.
And while we could circumvent Alliance territory, but that would mean going through Scourge lands. So
And that would also mean a climb through the mountains.
it's safer to go through Alliance territory than the Scourge lands.
You could theoretically approach the Highlands through the eastern Plaguelands, which would mean trying to climb the mountains. Or you could approach through the wetlands and Loch Bodan, which would be more on foot. Well, more flat.
And less likely to be turned into zombies.
That'd be nice.
I mean, I'm fine. I'm immune to disease, so the rest of y'all though.
I'd rather not.
I mean, the Alliance seemed good to avoid.
I mean, it's either the Scourge or the Alliance are our two options to get to the place.
I would personally much rather destroy Scourge than Alliance.
Well, it's not destroy Scourge. It's the land trying to infect us.
We're gonna get into a fight,
Yeah.
is what we're saying, and if we get into a fight,
I think we should avoid the land that's trying to infect us.
It's easier to fight the Alliance than the Scourge. You can fight the Alliance. You can't fight a plague.
Lesser restoration begs a different, but whatever.
I was about to say,
How many times can you cast that?
Let's see.
how many times can we rest?
That too.
How much will we get infected while we're resting?
Oh, that too.
The Plague Lands is still.
And admittedly, I've only got 5 casts of it per rest, but
The Plague Lands is still an inhospitable place, even not considering the Walking Dead.
Yeah, it's not the beings that are the Scourge. It is the Scourge plague itself that is the problem with the Scourges.
They are called the Plague Lands for a reason.
and also if
Like,
we
the plants,
encounter
the plants, the animal, the ground, the air,
Right,
the water.
looking at my map, how long of a journey is it through the Plague Lands versus how long of a journey is it through the Alliance?
For the mountains, take a lot longer. Plus, with the cart, we really can't
So,
traverse all that.
What are our... Okay, so is the Plague Lands even a viable route at all?
theoretically. So let me try and... Let me stepping out of camera for a second and into the other camera. So, essentially, you are about here, in the middle of Vanderhall. You can either go over and down into the highlands through the mountainsides, or you can go down and over.
So over and down is through the Plague Lands.
Yeah.
Down and over is through...
Alliance territory.
How deep Alliance territory? Are we just kind of skirting it, or are we...
We'd be in Dwarven territory.
It's Dwarven territory.
Loch Modan is Dwarven.
Loch Modan is one of the major lakes of Dwarven territory, and as far as you know, houses one of their major dams.
They're both mountainous regions, though?
Yeah, they're both fairly mountainous.
So we're out of my natural terrain. And how long of a journey would it be estimated about?
Heading through the Plague Lands, not quite being able to estimate through the mountainside, but getting to the mountains would probably take about a week. It'd take longer to get through Loch Modan just because you have to cover more ground, because you have to go down out a little bit west and then back around to try and avoid Alliance territory. But you would be dealing with less environmental hazards, because the difference being the Scourge is dangerous and the Alliance are dangerous, but the shorter shot has more of an environmental factor.
Okay. So the troll will show the two routes on the map.
The spirits protect me from the Scourge. They do not extend that protection ever.
Spirits hate me.
You did basically cuss them out when you first talked to them.
How do you know that?
We've related the story.
Okay. She probably hasn't.
Over the course of the year?
The spirits probably related the story.
Say you.
I can extend some degree of protection. I am, of course, a healer. But only time will tell how much healing and protection will be required moving directly through the Plague Lands.
Plague Lands have claimed whole armies before. I'd rather not than claim our part.
That said, roll me
An army is significantly harder to heal.
a religion check, though.
I don't know what I'm doing to make you laugh.
13.
Existing.
You do know that there are a number of bastions of the light within the Eastern Plaguelands that are working to restore them like the Druids have done to the Western Plaguelands. There is Tyr's Hand in the north, there is Light's Hope Chapel in the east, and there are several different strongholds that they've placed throughout the Plaguelands to try and combat not only the environmental factor but also the Wandering Scourge. So if you can survive the gaps, you can theoretically rest in places of healing and protection if you can get there.
I raise the existence of those. And looking at the map, are there any I know of that I could possibly point out on the map?
Looking at the map, there is you do spot there's a watchtower that is almost immediately inside the Eastern Plaguelands, which is, let's see.
And it's likely if we get to one, they'll know the locations of the others.
Yeah. But we don't want to dedicate to one path or another if, you know, like, we have to go way too far straight through Plaguelands without having a break.
Crown Guard Tower is about it's about 10 hours ride inside of the Plaguelands.
Who operates these bastards?
That would be the Argent Crusade.
The Argent Crusade, are they specifically aligned to...
They are neutral.
Okay. And they are a neutral organization.
What's the distance between, basically from the Plaguelands to the nearest one?
About 10 hours ride. From the border of the Eastern Plaguelands.
And these undead horses are going to be conveniently immune.
Yes, they are.
That also, of course, raises up the fact that the Kodos won't be, but...
But the Kodos...
The Kodos won't be, and neither will you.
Healed.
Again, and yes, you can... we can heal the things from the plague, yes, but then that's expending resource. That's expending his healing powers that won't be able to be used in fights.
And that doesn't even factor in the fact that to get to the Highlands from the Eastern Plaguelands, you'll have to go through the mountains.
Then we'll have to take that cart through the mountains.
Yeah, that's the difficult part. It's too big for most passes.
So is the car going to be intraversable through the mountains?
It theoretically could. It would just be difficult.
Yeah, we could take it. We won't know how difficult it'll be until we get there.
I think it's just too much effort. It uses up too much. Too many resources to get.
We know what awaits us in Alliance territory. The Plaguelands are mostly unknown.
Well, what can we tell them if they ask what we're doing? I mean,
They're not going to ask, they're going to attack.
well, I mean,
I point at myself and I point at the other orc. They're going to attack.
I think we can realistically enough pass, perhaps, as a neutral guild, if the worst comes to it.
or we can just change, just do little disguises and things.
I am a half-orc, but that also means I am half-human. And I do have family in the Alliance. Additionally, another neutral race. While yes, we are certainly far more horde-leaning, we could at least attempt
try to convince
diplomacy.
them, try to convince them that we're on like an errand of mercy
Aren't
to get him
some of us writing skeleton?
I mean,
Yes.
Yeah.
I look back to the Sashimoto of the horde better.
That's
I mean, but yeah, we can tuck that away. Basically, I mean, if you don't mind traveling a little more in disguise.
All for the attempt.
I mean,
There is a history of animosity that leaves me skeptical.
well, yeah, but I mean, we just do what we can to avoid. Sir. I mean, if we come up with at least a decent story, we can try to pass ourselves off with someone.
So the big thing is,
Because if we first get attacked and we kill something, we're gonna have to, we're not gonna be able to alleviate all evidence that anything happened.
so who would like to use the map to try and take a guess of what hazards you likely have to face trying to make either trip?
I mean, I'm doing that already. That's kind of my thing.
So there's natural hazards and then there's military hazards. So to assess the natural hazards of either trap would be a survival roll. it would be history to try and figure out military.
I'm pretty good at history, and I'm more familiar with the Alliance.
Well,
so-
natural hazards is 21.
Definitely, of the natural hazards, the Plaguelands is the most dangerous. The natural diseases of the area, while it's not a sure thing that you're going to catch one, you are upping your risk of disease tenfold just by entering the Plaguelands. It is not a surefire thing that you will catch one just by existing there, but it's sure as hell going to try. And that's before you get to the wandering undead, or the giant worms, or the other natural and plagued beasts that are inhabiting the area. Whereas the wetlands, which are what you primarily have to pass through to get there, are more, the biggest threat you'd have to deal with in the wetlands is probably gnolls and murlocs. And maybe some overgrown crocolisks.
Ooh, Murlocs, pets.
20 on
I
history.
say that as a player,
History.
not a character.
Well, the first thing you have to contend with is crossing the Thandle Span, which is the bridge that bridges the wetlands to the western Plaguelands. And immediately on the opposite side of Thandle Span is Dun Modra, which is a dwarven fortress designed to keep the horde out of the wetlands. So you have to, and you would have to try and either sneak or talk your way past Dun Modra at first. At which point you
What
would
is
probably
that again?
it's a dwarven fortress.
It's specifically designed to keep us out.
It's the bulwark on the Alliance side.
That's why I use rogue incognito. I can cast invisibility on a couple of people.
Can you cast inaudibility on your cart?
Also,
Oh, no, I mean,
they may or may not have detect magic.
He and I can cast.
No,
That's
no,
true, too,
like,
yeah.
if we want to do incognito, we take one little lie and bury it under as much truth as possible.
Right,
We
yeah,
say,
yeah.
we're a guild investigating, cult activity of the Scourge. We're here, and we make the one lie of we're a neutral guild and bury it under as much truth as possible because they shouldn't be concerned about us.
Just that we're hired.
Honestly.
This particular
We don't cast invisibility or do crazy ruses that make us more suspicious.
So aside from that, aside from Dun Modra, once you make it past Dun Modra, you should be mostly in the clear as long as you stay away from Menethil Harbor, which is in the opposite direction anyway. So aside from that, there's a grove of druids, which would be a nice sanctuary that you might be able to stay at, called Green Warden's Grove, which you could probably, if you could get there, you could probably stay at the sanctuary. And that would probably be your last stop before hitting the Highlands, assuming you don't run into any Alliance patrols or military forces on there, or in the marsh, because you could try and cut through the marsh, but that would be natural dangers. Versus in the Eastern Plaguelands, you will find almost no Alliance forces to get in your way. But you'll find Scourge. Lots of Scourge. Because even if the Scourge is currently leaderless, as far as you know, the remnants within the Eastern Plaguelands are still dangerous and sort of splintering under their own leadership. What cultists can command the dead and what liches might still exist.
So possibly running to desperate undead warlords.
Mad Max, but with zombies.
Can you rig us up some motorcycles?
Actually. I don't know enough materials for a lot of that stuff.
Can you rig us up a Dodge Charger with some spikes in the front?
It's always a Dodge Charger.
It's not a Charger.
It's a good car.
It look, more specifically, it looks good. And that's the point.
It's a paint stripped black Charger. Those are your options and the pros and cons of both weighing against each other.
Yeah. I still think the Alliance route and trying to convince a few people that we're not dangerous is possible.
I think that's our best bet.
I'm keeping the claw.
That's okay. It makes sense to me.
is going to point at the Scourge lands. The
Either
troll
way,
doesn't want to deal with people.
either way, you're going to have to either circle around or pass through Ender Hall, so you'll get a taste of both when you get there.
You want to get infected?
Points at the Scourge path.
You want to be a zombie?
Points at the Scourge path.
I mean, either it's becoming a zombie or being arrested. Both paths have a not insignificant amount of
It wouldn't be
risk.
arrest, it would be execution.
We're not getting arrested.
I mean, yes, it could be zombification, or it could be something far less pleasant, I'm sure.
Let's put it this way. Would you rather be healing your body from the ravages of the body, or face the potential of us having to carve our way through the Dwarven Fortress?
There wouldn't be very much potential in that. Mostly just bullets.
And to be fair, around the Dwarven Fortress, Dunmudra is not on the road, it sits off the road.
Carve our way past it on the Dwarven Fortress.
Not much reassurance in that.
Also, he may need to heal us if we need to carve through any resistance
Like,
we
you know this
we
map well
encounter.
enough that you can come over here and look at this. There is the fortress off of the bridge. So
Yeah.
it's a ways, but it watches over the road. And then you'd be going down that way to get to the islands.
Yeah, do this pretty much all.
You have to avoid anything coming out of there, and anything coming from down there.
I look down at my
Yeah, I know.
8'7", 600-pound frame.
We should put like, we could put like a hill giant or something. We can hide you on the wagon.
I'm the size of
We can disguise you as a wagon.
Disguise me as the wagon.
Yeah.
We just have to spy disguise you.
Just put the paper mask that we dwarf on.
Yeah. just
I
just
would
to go-
dwarf.
Go over, begin measuring his shoulder width, measure the shoulder width of a Kodo, look back.
Got a Kodo and stick me inside.
It's small.
You actually could.
Just, I'll need inside the
We could Trojan horse this thing.
Look, get a snorkel, let the Kodo eat you, and the snorkel will stick out of the mouth.
Kodo. Is that Kodo smoking? Yes.
Look, this Kodo's had a hard life, alright?
I'd have to punch the Kodo in the stomach to get the fuck out. That's the problem. Also be taking acid damage the whole time.
Protection from acid.
I don't have that.
I'm sure he can cast it.
Good repair account.
The only thing that provides resistance, not immunity.
I'm taking half acid damage. It's a half acid plan.
Cast the spell twice, that's totally how it works, don't question it.
But wouldn't that be a quarter damage?
No, because it reduces half the damage, and then it reduces
The other half.
the other half of the damage.
That's exactly how it works.
Look, math is weird in D&D. Especially if you don't bother looking at the rules and you just do what Austin says.
So, what do you
And I'm guessing going over that, because that lake is what's making us split our path?
Yeah, that lake that is Lochmodan, yeah.
And I'm guessing there's no good way to get across that.
It's also a waterfall. You can't tell elevation there. The wetlands are down here, and then there's a waterfall and Loch Budan.
Build a boat glide down the waterfall.
The troll points at the Scourge path again.
At the very least, the Scourge path would be more predictable.
I suppose.
What fun is predictable?
Predictability is not getting shot in this case.
You'll still get shot.
You do have until Anderhall to make this decision if you want to put it off until you're a little bit closer and can see what's facing you in either direction.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what we're doing anyway. Stupid Kodos are just wandering out. We're not
Police
dragging us with them.
well, we're following the Dakotas at the moment. So. We're on the move. We're not stopping. The going fighting through the scourge will force you, at the very least, to expend more of your power
Yes.
and a wider variety of things. You cannot. While you can heal
Yes,
both injuries and plague at the same. While you can heal both injuries and plague, doing both for extended periods of time
is difficult. Because ideally, moving through the Alliance would be bloodless. Ideally. Going through the Scourge we know will result in a fight, or at the very least battling the plague.
And we cannot guarantee what aid we will get if we bash us not.
I imagine they would be more than willing to offer their aid.
Willing,
Perhaps, of
willing,
course.
certainly. Capable of wielding.
If you'd like to look at the map of the plague lands that you're walking through.
Ah.
So, here's where you're leaving from. We'll walk over here. This is Anderhall, where most of the fighting is happening. You'd be passing around the outside of Anderhall towards the plague lands, or passing through Anderhall towards the wetlands. There's the Tomb of the Lightbringer, most famous paladin of the Alliance, and Chillwind Camp, which is the scouting camp of the Alliance.
Okay, so we'd also have to go through that.
Yeah. Which is a scout camp, less fortified, less likely to care about you.
Also,
Yes.
a scout camp, if we're wandering into the Scourge territory, the scout camp is probably as prone to say, well, one of them will kill the other, and that's fine with us.
Generally. And then there's Cardero and Skullament, which you've been told to steer the hell away from.
Which
All
direction
right.
is the Tomb of Uther?
South towards
Towards
wetlands.
Actually, there's another option that would be less lying and more reliant on you.
I'm all ears.
As I recall, there are significant places and monuments to the light throughout Alliance territory, are there not?
Of course.
You could simply be going on your pilgrimage. A priest with a guard is far easier to pass through than a task force.
Would there be one? Because if I was going to that tomb specifically, then I would get
That
to.
might get you around Anderhall.
Yeah, I would go to Dun Modra and they'd be like, "What the heck are you doing here?"
Yeah, you just pass through this tomb.
So, are there any past Dun Modra that I could?
It'd be a strong lie, but theoretically, if they thought you were coming from Calendor, which you are, theoretically you could be trying to go to Northshire Abbey, which is around Stormwind, which is the place where the Silver Hand was founded. So it is the place where the original paladins were created, and so some of the most famous priests of the Light are known to have originally been from, like Archbishop Alonsus Fowl, who founded the Silver Hand.
And if we stop in at Uther's tomb, if we find something that we can use to disguise me as a member of the Silver Hand, then perhaps that will ease my passage.
And actually, as you mentioned Uther's tomb, there's a fourth option, which is to attempt to take. There's a waterfall that leads from the wetlands down into the lake around Cardero.
Yeah, we could try to.
You could try and scale that waterfall and take the river up into the wetlands, which would get you around Dun Modra, but require you to go upriver around closer to Skullament.
Say, you got that little propeller thingy that could help with cliffs.
That's what I was going to be pointing out, the weak river traveling, but I don't.
Well, we could power thing with steam too.
Yeah, but it seems.
Because that could help those of us who are weaker at climbing.
I don't have all the stats for
Because
that.
those of us who are weaker at climbing are also typically lighter, so. Which is mostly me, because.
But yeah, that's one of the things I've been tripping across. On that area was going to be
Trying to make
It was a backpack propeller, like a
Fly speed for the.
yeah, like a go-go gadget helicopter for the robo suit.
That might be a little difficult for you right now.
Yeah, I don't know, because I never got the we never talked about the stats on that. 'Cause I originally drew that up a long time ago. The original thing, and I wasn't sure if I was going to put it on me or on the suit.
Yeah.
But that was one thing I was trying to figure out for this. But I don't know how much that would, what the cost or anything that would be.
But suppose there was a pilgrim light might help us get through Alliance territory.
Perhaps.
Would put more viability on those of us that don't look like Alliance sympathizers.
I suppose.
And it's roughly at this point, as you've been on this conversation for some time, that as you've been sort of going back and forth over the course of your trip towards Enderhall, that you arrive at the outskirts of the city, which is when you begin to see the green that has overtaken most of the plague lands begin to falter. As you can see, the grass begin to slowly die in patches. There are just areas where the ground itself seems to be dead. And animal sounds become less frequent, and trees become more sparse, and living trees especially. And then you begin to see dead and withered trees as well begin to pop up. As the more obvious effects of the Scourge's influence begin to become visible. And then beyond that, also the signs of battle. You begin to see furrows dug out of the ground from explosives and artillery, ballista bolts jutting halfway out of the ground, abandoned shields, bodies that have been decaying and left to wither, signs of where bodies had once laid that no longer do. The marks of war also begin to become apparent as you reach the outskirts of Antitonic. You can theoretically skirt around to the outside and avoid most of it, aside from anything on the outskirts, and head towards the plaguements, or pass directly through all of it to get south to the wetlands.
Yeah.
There's no passing around the other side to it.
No. The only way across the river is over the bridges that are on the west side of Enderhall.
What do we see occurring within Enderhall?
Well, I don't like perception, just to see how well you can take stuff out from the distance. 13. 15. Anyone else who can as well?
What do I want?
Aha!
17.
23.
8.
Wait, sorry, 24.
24? Nice.
Young and tall?
15.
Alright, so most of you but Brick and Josh, who are keeping your eyes on the road, notice and hear the sounds of combat over the wind. And you can hear shouts and the occasional roar of something not quite living, the occasional raspy utteration and guttural roar of something that has long since stopped breathing.
How far is it?
Probably about half mile.
I pick up the pace towards it.
Is that south or
That's
east?
south.
We can help out with this.
Yeah, I hear it, I charge.
Yeah.
I'm going for it.
Alright. Well, it seems like Jean Gatal has picked a direction.
Seems like a good idea as any.
So as you all pick up pace towards it.
Plus, if aiding Alliance scouts can give us a decent alibi, all the better.
The Alliance and Horde are both fighting here.
Well, that doesn't sound like anything alive. We can guess what's fighting.
We can guess what we have.
Well, sorry, let me rephrase. The Alliance, Horde, and Scourge are all three fighting in it. Each other.
Sorry, the name you would have been given, by the way, for the commander is Coltira. Sorry, the Alliance commander. They're both dead knights, so it's easy.
They're both there.
It's easy to interchange them. They're both dead.
And they're both often yelling at each other in the middle of Vanderhall.
Yeah. They used to be friends.
They still are, kind of.
Kind of. And as you approach, eventually the conflict becomes clear. The fight that you come upon is a three-way battle where the third side is very clearly overpowering the others.
What is the third side?
The Scourge.
As you encounter a squad of orc and Forsaken foot soldiers amongst a group of human and dwarven foot soldiers with a pair of abominations ripping through them.
Charged an abomination. Let's make it dead.
Soaring Fang.
Again.
Hammer the Scourge.
Alright, everyone would like to roll me initiative. They're trying to find where I set my dice.
17. I deal lots of damage to undead things.
Yes, you do.
Also, if you guys are within a certain range of me, you get bonuses to your saving throws.
The abominations are certainly not going first.
They're also immune to poison, I'm presuming. Being undead and all.
Probably.
Typically. And considering that they have poison in their veins.
That's their only last.
I will remind you, in case that they have anything that happens when I hit them, I have immunity to disease.
Good. That's relevant.
I feel like fighting an abomination is not the best plan.
Do you want to get a mouthful of dead bodies stitched together?
Not particularly. Asking for a snuck friend.
Doing much around an abomination is a good idea.
It's just
Zombie flash will be fine. So, 25 to 20.
21.
23.
To 15.
17.
18.
19.
19.
So let's see how far below us that is.
Gosh.
I didn't actually roll that poorly.
15 to 10. 10 to 5.
7.
You go at the same time as the Alliance. How convenient. Alright. The abominations go last at 1.
Well, at least I didn't tie them.
They had to roll a 3 to get there.
And to confirm, it's not actually specified in the rules text, but stings are poison, correct?
If they deal poison damage.
Yes.
Oh, but if they're not, if they don't deal poison damage, they are
Something that just augments the...
supernatural. Okay, so only the one that deals, only the scorpion sting then is poison damage. Interesting. Got
Anybody who's within 10 feet of me has to be saving the median plus 2 years.
I intend on being within 10 feet of an abomination.
So do I.
So, Gianna, you're up first as the group of you come across the outside of this battlefield.
It'll be relevant in fighting conditions.
What is closest to me right now?
Honestly, the group of Alliance soldiers.
How many are there?
There are 5 footmen and 5 grunts. So five warriors of the Alliance, 5 warriors of the Horde, and 2 abominations.
You've got this like choice marker in front of you.
Okay.
Left is the one, right's the other 10 centimeters of scourge.
Okay, are they fighting each other or the Scourge, or are they all fighting?
They're all fighting.
Okay.
You've got like 2 of the footmen squaring off against 1 abomination, 2 are squaring off against 2 of the grunts, who are squaring off each other against the Alliance, who are squaring off against the other abomination.
So you said the abominations are clearly winning.
Yes.
Then I will go for one of the abominations.
Okay. Run up past them. One of the footmen who doesn't recognize you but sees the green skin and the flash of movement past him takes a swipe at you as you run. So, what is your armor class?
I don't have that written down.
What armor do you wear?
It's 16.
I'm wearing leather armor.
I thought you were learning stuff leather.
Yes.
What's your dexterity?
18, so it's 16.
16.
Well, that's a 13. So, you catch the sight of a longsword just swiping out of the corner of. It's a wild swing, almost entirely on reflex, and you just easily slide past it as you run up towards the abomination.
So can I backstab an abomination?
Absolutely, there are many people who are enemies of the abomination in melee with it.
Also, I just rolled a 20 to attack it.
Then double your sneak attack damage.
Double all of your dices.
I like how you're using your dice tower as a tray and rolling your dice in the dice tray.
Yes.
Don't question me.
It makes sense. Trust me.
It would have worked better if you had been able to put it back in.
35 damage.
Nice. As you slide up past at the back of this abomination and drive your claws into it and drag it down, you cut a wide, stinking swath off the outside of this thing. As you attack it, I need you to make a stamina saving throw.
Have we faced abominations in the past?
No.
Oh, 19.
Okay. You feel just the stench of rotten flesh and disease wash over you, but you manage to force through it. You don't seem to catch anything.
Okay.
Do undead have stamina scores?
Yes, now they do.
Okay. Can't remember if 5th edition gets it back. Okay. You think you're gonna have good stamina scores?
Possibly. In exchange for giving them back stamina scores, they also made them susceptible to things that require stamina saves. That makes it Jang. It's your turn.
They're really poison, but are they a disease?
Probably. Poison and disease.
They are a disease.
Typically things that generate diseases are immune to diseases.
I'm trying to decide if I should sting it or not.
Sting.
None of my stings are really going to be super effective against this thing. So, I'm just going to charge it and I'm going to vicious strike it. Go for it. I'm going to throw my die up on the ground.
That's a bitch.
Okay. It's there. It's under your other foot. Does a 17 hit it?
Yes. It's really easy to hit this thing.
Cool. I'm using my dragon tooth spear if that's relevant.
Okay.
find it. It takes 11 piercing damage.
Alright. 6. So it's 46 points.
And second attack?
Yes. And make me a stamina save.
21.
Okay, and you also managed to
23, sorry.
You also managed to force through the onrush of disease.
Oh, actually, am I flanking this thing, given how many people are in combat with it?
Almost certainly with someone.
Oh, let me just double check. Okay, yeah, the first one would not have been a critical. Okay, second attack. Almost, but not quite. 20 some odd to hit.
Okay.
It takes 15 points of piercing damage.
Ow.
And is there any way I can draw its attention?
Oh, actually, both of you need to take 11 points of poison damage to you.
Me?
Yeah. 11 to you for the first strike. And 6 to you for the second strike.
Alright, is there any way I can draw this thing's attention?
You certainly damaged it, which might draw its attention. But in which way are you considering?
Like, it has a definitive forward, right?
Yes. It has a head.
I'm going to see if I'm going to plant myself directly in front of it and make a lot of noise.
Okay. Good. Rick, what are you up to?
I will be activating mark of aligned striking. Gives me advantage against undead.
Alright. And change some of those words to bonus actions.
And I guess I'll just get up close to one and get ready to attack next turn.
Alright. Josh.
I'm just going to fire the rifle. Dominations. 20.
That hits.
13 damage.
Okay. And then both of you two, as the bullet collides with the abomination, some of its acidic blood and poisonous stench just sprays out against both of you, dealing 6 points of poison damage to both of you. Garrick, you're up. Unless you want to do anything else. That's it.
Alright. Rush up into melee.
Have a chance to spot you.
Moving into a position where I'm flanking the abomination that they've been hitting.
Yep.
And giving as many hit as I can my bonus to my aura. With my aura. To swing in advantage with full blade. I'm going to use a bonus action to activate I'm going to use the bonus action to activate Thunder Smite. And then I'm going to swing it. That is a 13 hit. That is second attack. That's better. That's a 23.
Yes, that'll hit.
Okay. I'm going to expend the second level spell slot for Divine Smite as well, which is an extra d8 because he's undead.
Yep. Definitely undead.
So that's going to be 2d8 slashing plus 2, 3, 4d8 radiant plus 2d8 thunder, or 2d6 thunder. So, also, it needs to make a strength saving throw. 17. 8 d8s. We only have one. I just need.
Would need to make a damage saving throw if you're immune to disease.
Yep.
But all three of you suffer another 5 points of poison damage. This creature's poisonous blood splashes everywhere.
17 radiant damage. Okay. 11 slashing damage.
Okay. So the Delta's 90. According to Domination 90.
And 9 thunder damage.
Yes, that abomination is dead.
And there's just a thunderclap happens as I hit it with my sword. Yep. As I smash it with my big sword.
Yeah, a critical sneak attack at the beginning took a chunk of its hit points out. And then got finished by a heavy smite.
My sword explodes when it hits things, and then things explode when they get hit.
That's the Horde of the Alliance versus the Horde. 3 attacks with 2 arrows. This hit. This. This. And one hit. Yeah, okay. That's gonna be ow. Maximum damage for the poison that splashes back. One of the grunts digs his axe in deep, but the poison that splashes out from the abomination's insides just horribly wounds him and all of the warriors in melee with him.
Are they within 10 feet of me?
Not quite. An arrow sinks in and strikes, and again poison sprays everywhere.
These things are bad to swarm.
Yeah.
They're bad to fight in melee.
The Alliance shows up, and it's also your turn, Link, while the Alliance is doing things.
So the Horde are already in combat with the one abomination. The Alliance is moving in.
If the Alliance is moving in, it looks like they're trying to capitalize on the Horde having most of the other abominations' attention. Because they're attacking the Horde more than they're attacking the abomination.
How many injured are there on the Horde side? Because the Alliance just moved in, so they're
All 5 of them are injured already.
right.
This is what Lisa does herself to be a wizard who casts meteors.
This is when Leaf apparently reveals himself to be straight up Medivh.
That would be convenient right now. I
That'd
mean,
be
I'm
a
not gonna
reveal.
lie.
That's almost spell. You're only level 7. I know.
I don't have mass healing spells. Yeah, I just straight up do not have any.
I have a healing spell that can be used to heal many people before it goes out.
Yeah, right.
That's not a mass healing spell.
You know what? If they hate me for doing this, we can just skirt around the Alliance territory, whatever. Do any of them look to be gotten diseased from this or poisoned or something?
At least two of the grunts that are up close with the abomination seem to have come down with something in the middle of this fight.
I'm going to try to move up to whichever one looks worse off and cast Lesser Restoration.
You step up to one of the grunts who's an orc and slap a hand on his shoulder, and you feel the blessed warmth of the light flow through you and into him, and he takes a breath that comes a little bit easier. Still ragged because he's heavily injured, but he breathes just a bit easier without the disease coursing through his system. He's no longer poisoned, and stands up straighter. My thanks, healer, and goes right back into the fight. And it's the abomination's turn.
At me, bro.
Only one of them's alive. Well,
That
one
one
of
to
them's
go in
alive.
front of him.
Yeah.
At me, bro. Please at me.
Let me try to do
He's gonna at you at least once.
Well,
This is the one we're not next to.
But it has, it's two massive hands, one of which holds a meat hook on a chain, the other one holds a massive butcher's knife, and then a third arm reaches out from its shoulder holding a meat hook, just like a sickle, which is swinging around.
when you say sickle, do you mean Kusari gun?
No, like a sickle. It's like a third arm is holding a sickle like meat hook. And it's
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about the one on a chain.
no, the one on a chain is more like is using more like a sorry.
It's also a sickle. It's literally a meat hook on a chain.
Yes, which would be a Kusari gun. A sickle is just in your hand. Kusari gun is a sickle on a chain.
Yes, but a meat hook is not a sickle. A meat hook is a hook.
You've seen a sickle?
Yes. The hook isn't edged. It's a hook.
Yeah, the meat
Like
hook
a
is
fish
just
hook, but bigger.
Yeah. That's why I said like a Kusarigama, not literally a Kusarigama.
But
More like a grappling hook.
it digs that meat cleaver into the chest of one of the orcs, and then swings the sickle on its third arm towards another one. But then it just brings its hook up and hurls it directly at the troll.
There we go.
Tracy,
Draw on fire, it's my job. 18.
and then it definitely hits you.
Okay.
So you will take 16 piercing damage and 5 poison damage.
Okay.
And it immediately pulls you 20 feet towards it, which basically pulls you into the square adjacent to it
Excellent.
with the hook.
That's where I wanted to be anyway.
You're no longer next to me.
Which then brings it back to the top with Shiana, who's not here.
She'll be back in a second.
I believe she's going to run in and stab with you.
I have a feeling.
I have a strong feeling.
Whether it's the alliance of the abomination, I don't know.
Well, can I go and stab the abomination?
Go ahead, yeah, you're up next.
I am still flanking, I presume, on some level.
Yeah, this thing is swamped. It's bad for everyone's health, but
There we go. I crit on a 19. Does that mean I auto hit on a 19?
no, you don't auto hit, but you probably still hit it anyway.
I mean, I probably still hit it because it's 19 on the die.
Yeah, considering its armor class is 15.
Yeah. Critting on lower numbers is not hard.
Okay, just like in 3-5. Okay. Okay.
Go ahead and take your turn while you're taking his turn, Holly.
Unfortunately,
The abomination hooks. You want to call him?
that is my last of my vicious strikes, but that is 22 damage.
Ow. And that'll also be 15 poison damage to you.
Well, you get a second attack.
All the other
You have advantage on me.
Okay.
How much damage?
15 poison damage.
No.
I'm guessing a 15 does not hit him.
Yes, it does. It is exactly his armor class.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
You hit the
It's a
abomination.
giant wall of meat. It's not hard to hit.
That's a wall worth.
Okay.
It's a pile of meat.
So 9 damage with that one.
Okay.
Did you get your sneak attack?
Yeah.
Also, yeah, I just need that.
Okay.
You only get the one attack. You said advantage on it.
A stitching of meat. That's the collective. That's the collective noun for abomination.
Then
It's a stitching of abomination.
14 damage.
You only added 1d6?
Yeah, this is 1d6.
No, it's 3d6 for your level.
No, it's 4d6 for backstab. It's 1d6 for sneak attack.
That backstab and sneak
that's
attack
the
are the same
same
thing.
thing.
Backstab is
No,
sneak attack.
well,
Oh, so you rolled 5d6 and added 4, correct?
no.
Oh, does that just say S attack? Because that's savage attack.
No, it says
Stabby
sneak
claws is 1d6 plus 4 plus you add your backstab.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. I'm sorry. Let me roll that again.
So you roll.
No, you wrote sneak attack because it's probably listed as sneak attack.
So you roll 5d6 and you add 4 to it. That's your total damage.
Okay.
So
Backstab is the D&D is the Warcraft term for sneak attack.
They are one and the same.
also D&D references it both ways, different times.
18.
18. Okay. And both you and Jangatal take.
Well, this would have been before I was up close, because technically she went before me.
I know, just because he hooked you to him.
Oh, right, you're correct.
So you will both take 7 more points of poison damage.
Alright. And my extra attack was a natural 20.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I am out of my good old-fashioned vicious strikes. So we're just dealing 16 damage to this thing.
Ow. And then taking 7 more poison damage.
Cool. I've taken a lot of damage.
Is that just him?
Both of you.
Ah.
Thankfully, that's my job.
This ability was always dangerous. Even on the original creature that it's from. Rick.
Alright. It's within range, so I will attack.
It's same as Searing Smite. It just splashes instead of setting on fire. D6.
2d6 for her.
Extra D6 for each level. Go first.
20.
20, that hits.
Because Thunderous Smite is also first level combat, it's 2d6.
Yeah, but it doesn't scale.
Doesn't scale. One of the few smites it doesn't.
Only 4 damage.
Oh, that's just a bad roll.
Yeah, that was the one.
Oh.
Second attack.
And also take, all 3 of you take 5 points of poison damage.
You know, I don't have my strength modifier in on my damage, so I actually did 4 more damage to the abomination.
Good to know.
That was just dice damage, and I forgot to add my modifier.
It's 4 damage more than it.
12.
More damage, more re-dead.
To hit or
To
damage?
hit.
That missed it.
Okay.
Garrick continues to be the hammer.
My bonus, I will.
Everyone lines up as the end.
Unarmed strike.
Huh?
Unarmed strike.
No, I will use the Rune of Pounding Surf to pay 1 rune point to get another attack.
Yep. I guess 2 extra attacks.
Yeah, is that in addition?
Let me check. I believe Pounding Surf gives you 2 extra attacks. I believe it functions.
It's 3 blows.
Yeah. Pounding Surf. Yeah, make 2 attacks.
Okay. So the third attack is a 18.
That hits.
I just wish I had that for 20.
That is 8
That's
damage.
not how probability works.
Doesn't matter, I missed it. No, that's not how probability works. That is still how wasting a natural
7 more
20
points
works,
of damage.
because I rolled a natural 20 when I did.
How much?
7
I
more.
rolled a big roll.
No, less than 7.
Oh, I got to find it.
Speaking of, natural 20.
Hey!
Hey!
Double your dice damage.
Punch it in the face. Punch it hard in the face. If you kill the abomination, I can make an alliance trooper regret his life choices.
Or we could
11.
try to broker peace.
Yeah.
They were attacking the war involved. They were attacking the abomination. They forget
11.
My hatred of my enemies.
6 more poison damage.
Holly's down.
Go first, alright.
Josh.
He's still up.
He's still standing, but it doesn't look good.
And Holly's character just fell.
Poison damage.
You're out.
I'm out.
You're
The
unconscious.
thing got hit like 5 more times and you took a bunch of damage.
Oh. Am I still alive
Yeah.
though?
You haven't taken any failed death saves yet.
Yeah, but if he shoots it, you will.
Yeah.
Fortunately, it wouldn't be a melee attack, so you wouldn't take 2.
Well, I can do it. Can I charge the thing and just push it away from me?
You can attempt to, yeah.
I'll try it twice.
Like what? Bull rush it?
I was gonna bull rush it. I don't have strength, but I mean the machine does.
Yeah.
So, hey,
She's got a
that's what
strength.
the machine is all about.
Saves.
I'm gonna bull rush it.
I haven't put stats all the way together, but I believe.
Yeah, I know. It's like well, I've got
It's-
the old stats. So
Strength will probably be 16.
yeah, that's what
Was it? Was it?
yeah, that's what you have.
So, is it proficient in athletics?
Yeah, but I go
It's not, but are you?
in athletics. I can. Let's see. Athletics.
It's 2 more.
Oh, I heard that is Oh,
Yeah, no, you're not in
no.
athletics.
Okay, so you just D20 plus 3.
You still have a +3 on it though, so
Oh, because of that.
because of the strength of the suit.
So, that'd be a D20 plus 6.
No,
Nope.
you not.
Plus 3.
D20 plus 3.
D20 plus what?
Plus 3.
Plus 3?
Which I mean, the abomination's not proficient in athletics either, so.
Well, we'll try it anyway, just because.
I
it
can't
sounds
imagine
like
why a thing that's
Oh,
stitched together
natural
from
20 anyway.
15 different bodies wouldn't be proficient in athletics.
It got 9 with its +4 strength.
Okay.
So
I mean,
you
that's
can
a
shove it.
natural 20, so I guess keep blown away from
You shove it and it staggers away from Shiana.
Okay.
Anything else in your turn, or
Is it forward? Okay, let's see.
you can either push it 5 feet away or push it from.
5 feet away so that when he kills it, it doesn't kill her.
Right, yeah, 5 feet away, but just, we'll do this, knock 5 feet away first.
So when I pop it, it does it like a balloon.
Okay, then I'll step. I don't know, I guess I'm just gonna wait and see what happens.
You push it away. Garrett.
Shove it.
Meteor crouch. Does a 16 hit it?
Yes, it's just barely.
Alright. I'm just going to throw a second find some I can do it. So that's another 48. Radiant plus 2d8. That was worse. 10, 13 radiant damage. Plus 8 slashing damage. 11 poison. Plus 8 slashing damage.
Yep.
Yes.
Holding on by a thread.
Second attack.
Disadvantage.
S- 18 to hit.
That hits.
It's first level divine smite this time.
Okay.
15 radiant damage. And 15 slashing damage.
Ow. You take 14 more poison damage, but it's dead. How do you want to do this?
The first strike came down, the second strike comes back up, and sort of the radiant energy just sort of explodes out backwards. just a rain of gore on the Alliance.
And it is a rain of gore as this radiant energy blasts out of the back of this abomination as gore and intestines scatter in all directions.
So like they were looking at the back of an abomination. Now they're looking at it. Now they're looking at a
hole in the
at an almost 9 foot tall brick of an orc in heavy armor, glowing radiantly, having exploded.
And the scattered corpse of an abomination. Which then brings it back to the Horde's turn, and the Horde don't like having been attacked while they were in the middle of fighting the abomination. They're heavily injured, but they're gonna go in for it.
I kind of wanted to cast Thaumaturgy before this to give it more impact, but
You're after the Horde. You're at the Alliance's turn.
can't even do anything? Alright.
Not yet.
Can't even say anything.
And you can say something. You can't use thaumaturgy for it, but they're in the process of attacking.
I'll try to yell out, hold your fire. Specifically, yeah, no, kind of directing it to both sides, really. If that does anything at all.
It might when your turn comes around.
Alright.
At the moment, they're in the middle of Bloodlust.
At the moment, you are saying this as axes are being swung.
Yes.
So. And some damage is definitely done, but now it's you and the Alliance's turn.
So, how many Alliance members are there?
There are still 5 Alliance soldiers.
5 and 5?
5 and 3. Because two of the orc grunts that were on the abomination went down in all that poison spray.
Do they seem to be targeting anyone in particular, either side?
Not really. They're just getting into a fight. There's 2 Forsaken archers and an orc warrior left, and 3 human footmen and 2 dwarf riflemen.
I'm going to just go ahead and straight up run right into the middle of it, using my bonus action to cast Sanctuary on myself.
Okay.
Run directly between the 2 melee warriors, because it's 2 Forsaken archers, you said?
Yeah. 2 archers, 1 grunt, and then 3 footmen and 2 dwarf.
You can use that calm emotion spell.
That's actually a really good idea. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and cast Sanctuary on myself as I literally run between 2 weapons and cast Calm Emotions on the group.
Okay. That's charisma saving throws, right?
I believe so.
The archer. Natural 20 on the second archer. No one to run. No one to run. The other footman.
I'll look for specifically what that does, but
Last one.
It's a radius. Where you're at, some of us might be
Presuming we're inclined to be in a fight.
Well,
I know at the very least you are.
It doesn't matter if you're inclined to be in a fight or not. It
I mean,
affects
yes.
you. Yeah. Calm emotions.
One of the following 2 effects. So,
You get to choose for each target.
Yeah, I think it just affects everyone.
alternatively, you can make a target indifferent about creatures of your choice that it is hostile towards. The indifference ends if the target is attacked or harmed by a spell, or if it witnesses any of its friends being
For
harmed.
whatever it's worth, all of the Horde members that were near me get +2 to their saving throws.
Still not enough for anyone except for the Forsaken Archer who rolled a natural 20 anyway.
Because that's just a common fight.
Well, plus you're at the abomination. They all ran past the abomination.
Well, we were all in the combination.
Yes, but they ran away from it to go to the Alliance. No, the Alliance weren't at that abomination.
They were, because they ran up and smacked the Horde people that were at the abomination.
Yeah, it was all piled around the abomination.
We're all in one big dog pile right now.
Of the group, none of the Alliance are able to attack because they're all affected. The one Horde soldier who is not affected is the Archer, who has still got an arrow drawn, but is just kind of watching.
Yeah,
the
each
surroundings.
humanoid in a 20-foot radius, so all of us that were by the abomination have the same.
You can choose to fail the saving throw if you wish. And if you wish, you can just end any charmed or frightened effect on you.
I rolled a natural 1, so it doesn't matter.
I rolled a 19, but on the die, but
And this Because this is around contested territory, or is this specifically in Alliance?
This is in
land?
contested.
Anderhall is contested territory.
We are in a battle. We are in a war zone. An active war zone.
This is just a small skirmish in the middle of it.
What are you doing to me? Because you make the choice on everyone.
Specifically,
There-
I mean, you're not charmed or frightened.
You can choose
so
to do that if you don't want to do anything to it.
You still have to choose one.
You may want to calm him down though, because he
Yes,
seems
yes, absolutely. Like,
I see macro because I just burst through an abomination.
I mean, you specifically said that the abomination hadn't been up then.
Yes, I the player did. Garrett didn't say shit.
Yes, but Neef knows you.
Yeah, I like to think I'd be able to read you well enough to know that, oh hey, kind of bad situation involving the Alliance. Alliance ain't gonna get away with
It's
something.
whatever. You have to make a choice regardless. So.
Yeah.
He's probably shooting that prohibited just because, you know what, this is a good thing to have for everybody.
Yeah.
Alright.
What are the Alliance guys doing?
Nothing, because they're under the effect of the spell.
So they're all just kind of, and so the horde mostly looks alright, and then there's just the one guy there who's...
The one archer who just got an arrow drawn back and is just waiting, sort of giving the side eye towards the situation.
Then another Alliance patrol runs in and starts attacking.
But
Because we're in a war zone.
you have a moment of calm.
I go ahead and, as the column sort of stretches out a little bit, turn towards the Alliance.
As well.
Flame out.
So I'm still
by the
in
way,
initiative.
Also,
make a death saving
Yeah,
throw.
we're still in initiative.
So we're still in initiative, right?
I roll a d20 for that.
Also,
You get a +2 because you're near me.
16 then.
the troll is going to stand over Shiana and take total defense.
Cool.
And spend a hit die.
So that's
Dodge and heal.
And defend Shiana.
Break.
Cool. I'm gonna heal Shiana with one of my runes.
Thank you. Not letting me die.
I was gonna let it in. I've got my down hands. I got 35 points. It can also be used to cure you.
Mark of healing, I guess.
All of it right now.
Oh no, you're not actually poisoned condition yet.
You walk over and take the small stick that has the rune of healing, the pattern of healing carved on it, and just press it against her. Go ahead and heal.
You gave 7 points.
And now that no one is at risk of dying, let's see what the horde picker does. Garrett. Well, Josh first. Is Josh going to do anything?
I'm just keeping an eye on the Alliance characters.
Garrett?
I am currently feeling indifferent towards the Alliance at the moment. So, are either of the horde members that were down? Are they bleeding out, or are they?
They're dead.
How many of them are dead? Alliance blows.
None of them.
How many of them would have been alive if the Alliance had attacked them?
Probably at least one.
Good to know, so I can rub that to these consciousness.
But the two that are dead because of the abominations.
Thank you for reminding me that I saved 3 lives. If this works out.
See.
And the two that died because of the abominations poison spray.
Yeah.
But they were put in a situation of where they could have been killed by that spray by the Alliance.
Yes. I can't help them. So I'm going to. How injured are you, Shiana, still?
Very.
Oh, how much of what you're doing? What's your max?
My max is 52. I have 7.
7? Okay, I'm gonna go give 13. Let's go back against it.
Thank you.
Alright. The horde, the archer, just roll an insight check. Not bad. keeps the arrow drawn and knocked, but as he's watching, just kind of tilts his glowing yellow eyes to you. Priest, this is a very tenuous situation you've made.
I seem to be very good at finding myself in the middle of those. I go ahead and
He does not lose his arrow. And at this point, now that the one person who could be fighting is not fighting, this is where we will end initiative.
I go ahead and turn back towards the Alliance. Are you all enemies of the Scourge?
The group of them just kind of look at each other for a minute and kind of mull on who's in charge right now. And one of the Dwarven riflemen kind of steps up, pulls his hood back, and you see his long white hair and his long white bushy beard.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
That's only relevant to me. Would this apply to my smites?
Fighting? No, only the weapons damage.
Because it just says on a damage die for unattacked mate with a melee weapon, not necessarily the damage dice from the weapon.
It's specifically for the weapons damage dice.
Okay. Because that would be stupid if I could just go, oh look, my D8 on my Divine Smite rolled a 1. No, it didn't.
I believe there's safety advice on that. Okay. Feeling poorly.
John's tall. It's quieter than usual.
I mean, it's not like he's going to participate in negotiations anyway.
It's quite the chatterbox.
Yeah, absolutely. Very talkative. So, the dwarf kind of steps up and pulls his hood down. Of course we are.
I go ahead and look down towards one of the abominations and just glance back up towards him. Then I believe this group has at least in some way done you a favor. I believe that should at least merit them perhaps not being slaughtered while they're down.
Except we're also fighting against the Horde to take this city back.
One of the tenets of the Holy Light may be justice, but only when tempered by mercy and wisdom. Kicking a man while he's down is neither.
Only persuade.
With advantage, because it's not as hostile to you.
That's when the dwarf says, when he's not a man, he's an orc. And then the fight starts again.
I mean... That's why I'm making the persuasion roll.
Let's see. Because you know that's exactly some shit frontline fighters would say.
Yes, it is. I mean, it's literally.
Also,
Has a nice.
Shiana's not calmed.
Oh no, yeah, Shiana made the saving throw.
Well, no, Shiana's unconscious. Didn't have to make
Oh,
a saving
yeah.
throw.
No, but it keeps up.
You were unconscious when you cast.
It's not a one-time effect, it's a constant area.
It's on an aura. It only activates when you cast it. It continues, but it's not like when somebody enters the area and they have to make a save. It only affects the people that are in the area when you cast it.
Yeah, you're right.
So Shiana is not under the effect of the calm emotions and could theoretically attack the alliance members if she
But
still
yeah,
active.
20.
Which would then let everyone else start
And she turns on the
That would work too, because then it would break the effect.
That'd be a twist.
Why not tweet?
So he kind of looks at you for a minute. And what do I have to say that you, half-breed, are just trying to find a better position for them?
Well, if you said that, then you would perhaps be accurate. I mean, I would really rather not see people die on my pilgrimage, but I suppose that's just how the world works sometimes.
This is war. People die.
I pull out a hand grenade and say, you guys are outnumbered at this point.
I was trying not to bring that up, Josh.
You can make
But
me an
yes,
intimidation
that-
check
yeah.
if you want.
Did I get to make an intimidation check when I exploded the abomination on them?
Be quiet, 'cause that was in the middle of a fight.
14.
I will give you advantage on that, though.
Because there's an almost 9 foot tall orc standing behind you.
Still 14? Let me see what
And it's like Josh, little goblin with the grenade. I mean, we still outnumber you behind him.
I'm in a suit. I mean,
How big is the suit?
It's
medium
large size?
size.
medium size.
Medium size.
It's for goblin, the pilots.
Yeah. But
As he kind of looks at you and the grenade and the steam suit, and just, doesn't say anything. He's kind of you can see the acknowledgement that yes, this would not be a good fight to get into right now across his face.
I figured you could calculate that. I mean,
Because
What bases of the Horde would be like? How so is this city contested? Like, who actively controls it?
Technically, the only active military bases in Andorhal is the Hordes. They have the foothold. The Alliance's nearest base is Chilwindland, which is the scouting base that forces are sent through. But that doesn't mean the Horde controls all of Andorhal. It just means they have a base here. They have the stronger hold, but they're still being fought.
Well then, you can go ahead and get yourself out of this situation. You can let these three be forced to recuperate back in their own base, and you can get out of a losing fight.
Okay. Come on, lads. He sort of indicates the other soldiers with his rifle. The other four look at him kind of like, really? He gives them a nod. Let's go. Unless you want to get killed. Then he turns and the group slowly, grudgingly starts to follow. Congratulations, you averted a bloodbath.
How? I'm guessing this grunt doesn't look so good. So good.
No, the one remaining orc grunt does not look good at all.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and cast Cure Wounds on him. Wait. Uh, 10 hit points to the grunt.
Alright, cool.
I'm going to spend another 15 points of my lay on hand on myself.
You press your hand to him, and wow, that's I'm not used to Wowpedia just suddenly being service temporarily incapacity. It's like, who's using the site like that much right now? Too many. Okay, anyway. Yeah, the orc kind of sort of holding a bleeding arm with several different poison and acid burns across it, and as you put your hand on him, you can see the wounds begin to close as the bleeding stops. He's not completely better, but the bleeding stops and some of the wounds start to close.
Can I tell if he's diseased?
It doesn't seem to. He seems to have been hardy enough to last through that.
Healing still applies negative for undead, right?
No, you can choose to heal the undead.
How are they faring? Because they were archers, so they would be away from the poison.
Yeah,
slide.
they don't look too bad.
Okay.
It's hard to tell with the undead because they're already fairly damaged, but the archers seem to be mostly intact. It looks like one of them might have taken a shot from one of the riflemen, but the other just was fine. It's just like the little bit of ichor from within the body just slowly seeping out of a bullet. And the orc kind of looks at you. My thanks, priest.
I do what I can.
It is good that you prevented that fight. Maybe you would not have lasted with our reduced numbers without your aid. It seems the spirits were with us.
just a pillar of spirit energy over here.
Go back over the wagon and park it.
The two Forsaken archers, after the Alliance leave, put their arrows back in their quivers in that sort of very rigid, stiff motion that a lot of undead have.
We should retreat to a base camp without fighting.
Indeed, this will probably attract attention, I'm sure.
Actively people fighting all around us.
We should get out. We can bring you back to the Endor Hall base camp if you need a rest for the evening. We should be heading back with our unit numbers reduced anyway. So one of us here.
I'm going to get us through. To the base camp.
We will introduce you to Captain Kotira, and you will see if he can assist you, perhaps. That sounds good.
I'm going to grab the chain hook and one of the butcher knives off of one of the abominations.
Okay.
Sure.
Have you guys heard anything else? You said there was a lot of history, I guess.
Yeah.
Other battles, can I just pick up some of these bits for working on stuff? Just,
Roll me an engineering check.
What would it take for me to use this chain hook and grappling hook?
A lot more chain.
I mean, like, in the way the abomination uses it.
You probably could.
They have the hook and pull.
It'll probably be use your attack to hit, and if you manage to hit, use your reaction to try and pull.
just want my engineering check again.
It's probably got about a 20-foot range.
I'll just sort of do that. The butcher knife, I'm thinking of turning into something else.
It's unwieldy though, so because you're not an abomination, if it was huge and trying and wielding it like that, it'd probably be a disadvantage for you just for being unwieldy.
Yeah. Is there any way I could make it more wieldy? With my blacksmith?
Possibly it takes some work. But you could probably trim it down to a weight that's reasonable to use.
18.
Say
We'll take the other one too.
we'll say that you managed to get about 10 pounds of scrap, which is about 100 gold. Okay. So yeah, the Horde soldiers march a little bit north, but mostly northeast, to bring you to the towering fortifications and palisades that have been put together as quickly and as thoroughly as possible for the Horde's forward base in Endor Hall. As you enter, you are immediately struck by the melodious voice of an individual speaking above the din of work being done. His voice is musical in a strange way. It has an odd echo underneath it that makes it almost sound vaguely sepulchral. As he speaks above the din. Get the eastern fortifications repaired. If the Scourge come again, they'll knock them right over. As you approach, you see the faintly faded red hair of a blood elf who is facing away.
Faintly faded. That shit's silver.
Yeah, sort of.
It's completely faded. It's
It used to be sort of a reddish blonde, but now it's sort of become silvery. As he stands with his back to you, but as you approach, the Forsaken sort of stands at attention and salutes with that cross-shoulder salute that the Forsaken do. Captain Deathweaver, we bring assistance, well, those who have assisted us, they seek safety for the evening.
Not that short rest.
And the elf turns, and you are faced with definitely an undead elf. His skin is alabaster pale, and his eyes have a faint icy blue glow. His long elven ears kind of twitching faintly in the attention, but he turns and you can see he's wearing this heavy, dark, black and bluish black plate of a material that you're not familiar with. As he wields, there's a great sword that faintly glows green near the edge of the blade over his shoulder. As he looks over the group with you,
Do I know this individual?
be a history check.
My background.
He's definitely not from the Third War.
Okay.
He's not the part of the Third War that you were part of.
I do have that background feature.
Yeah, you absolutely do.
11.
This person is not from you.
Okay.
He sort of looks in the group of you. So, people just wandering through Underhall in one of the most dangerous war zones of the Eastern Kingdoms?
We're heading south.
South? Why south?
Hunting Twilight Hammer cultists.
Heading to the Highlands.
Ah, you're heading. You don't have it back to get you there. Huh? I suppose if you're moving on foot, you would need to head south.
I thumb towards the cart.
That does make sense.
We're Chuck. We can handle ourselves.
I don't doubt that, May.
Covered in abomination.
Well, I'm Coltira Deathweaver, and I am in charge of the Horde forces of Vanderhall. My former compatriot, the Saurian, is in charge of the Alliance forces, and we have been enjoying a recent resurgence of Scourge activity lately. I'm afraid it's not particularly safe around here.
We will only be stopping for a short time to get out of the city.
Well, I don't think I can provide you any additional mounts, but I could potentially provide you some intelligence of where the heaviest fighting is going to be. Would be appreciated. As it stands, the Scourge are pushing in deeper, which means most of the fighting has begun to shift to the east. If you keep to the western side of the city, you should be able to avoid most of the heavy encounters. That said, that will also be where the Alliance will believe us to be at our weakest, so if they decide they want to push us forward with the Scourge, you might provide you some of that.
Have you run into any issues with the Twilight's Hammer or something similar? I know they're operating mostly in the Highlands, or at least so the rumors say, but...
The Twilight's Hammer works best when there are people they can manipulate.
I imagine it's hard to do that in the middle of a war zone.
Yes, not only that, but the only people that would, well, at least 1/3 of the people they would be seeking to manipulate are mindless.
Right.
Do any of your scouts outside the city have reports on Alliance activities to the south of 28th Wetlands?
Well, the south is where they're coming from, so most of the army's movements are coming through the south.
They're actively reinforcing.
Not that I can tell at the moment. Reinforcements come in waves. You might be between wave movements. You can pass safely through Chilwyn Camp and make it across the Thandle Span and avoid the eyes of Dunmodra. You should be mostly.
What's the location of this bridge?
Before next to Dunmodra.
It's east of Chilwyn Camp.
What's the town that it's in?
Anderhall.
Oh, it's part of Anderhall.
It is southeast of Anderhall, yeah.
There's a holding ground to the southeast, on the southeastern side of Anderhall. What have passage there?
Well, if you can avoid the Scourge, this in the east is where most of their push is at. Avoid the Scourge and talk fast enough that the Alliance understands what you're there for. You might be able to get there.
On the Alliance Club.
At the very least, with Alliance eyes watching you.
I mean, I'm into the location.
The location? No, the location is kept mostly by the remnants of the Silver Hand that have not continued on with the Argent Crusade after the end of the Icecrown campaign.
When you looking at the rest of the, you want to cut through the city, do you get there directly or exit the circle around?
So we can cut.
We can cut straight through it or only get to. We can go past it certainly, but if we want to, for our plan to use that as a pilgrimage, as to sort of further our.
I thought we were planning on going to the one further to the
That
south.
is the one. That's the Grave of Uther.
No, Uther's tomb is the one that's nearby. The one that is further south past Dunmodra would be Northshire Abbey.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that.
I thought we were going to use the stop at the Abbey to use it as a deepening of our deception.
I mean, you're
So that we're coming from the Abbey to.
Coming from the tomb.
Yeah, coming from the tomb towards the Abbey.
so
That
basically
way
saying
the Alliance sees us going to the tomb and then heading south.
okay, so basically saying that we're making, a grand trip.
Yeah, we're making a pilgrimage from
from
Uther's tomb to Northshire Abbey.
Okay. I suppose that makes sense.
And also to see if there are anything that we can find at Uther's tomb that would help us build that disguise better. Because we don't currently have any accoutrements to the Silver Hand.
So
I could pass as a Silver Hand paladin in everything except for appearance.
yeah.
Also, spirit champions are not paladins.
No, we're not. But
Yeah.
we function
Similarly. Like your power sources are completely different, and there are no known orc paladins at the moment.
Yes.
That too. I think it would be easier so far as explaining yourself that we simply claim to be, say that we are a neutral guild and I happen to be, going on this pilgrimage and I think if you can look these
I think claiming to be a guild by itself would be bad. Just wear your guards on the pilgrimage.
Alright.
Let's leave the guild talk out entirely.
So when you mentioned guilds, you mentioned work, and most of your guild is horde races. Guess where you're going to see your work comes from?
Yeah.
Guild implies an organization, regardless of whether or not you can be neutral.
Alright. I suppose that's
Cutting over to
the
Uther's
best
tomb.
way to go.
Yeah, so we want to cut over to Uther's tomb and then head south from there.
Well, good fortune to you.
Is there anything incredibly
We'll take a short rest here and then head out.
Is there anything incredibly major
now
about this
we'll hit
plan
this.
that would go horribly wrong that I don't know about? Like maybe it's the wrong season for this, or I'm supposed
The
to have
plan
some kind of
itself is
balance.
fine. The biggest hitch is that you're going to be walking through where the Scourge are fighting.
Yeah.
You're going to be going through the heaviest part of the war zone to get there.
Okay.
We have an extra two.
How many spell slots I restore?
None on a short rest. Yeah, you can spend hit dice to heal on a short rest. And any features that you get that regain on a short rest, you regain those. Warlocks get their spells back on short rests.
Because Warlock's cheap.
So the warlock I
Warlocks just have less spell slots.
And demon companions to fight for them, so they don't need to use the spell slots.
That too. That's why I want to make a V-based warlock. Because V is so freaking awesome.
I mean, especially with the Warcraft Warlocks that I've done.
Well, that's-
demon companions.
V summons demons that fight for him. He just stands back and reads poetry. Actually has a book to read his poetry.
Yeah, I know.
It's so fun.
So,
Hit dice and spend. That's fine.
I don't need to spend any damage.
One shots.
You can spend 2 hit dice. I just. We can roll.
I'm just 1 point shy. Like it's not that big a deal right now.
You're reduced to exactly 0 hit points.
You would have taken.
Or you're reduced to exactly
-1.
negative.
Like,
I'm fine. I'll be fine.
Oh, I mean, technically speaking, she would have been reduced to 1 hit point by that last one because.
oh yeah, we forgot relentless endurance.
Yes.
That's alright, you didn't spend it.
Too many things.
Hey, you
to-
still have it.
You still
still
have
have it for next time. Fix just like.
That's fine.
You intentionally didn't spend it just so you could dodge my calm motions.
There we go.
Yes.
And I'll try to see if I can
Hot
see
yourself out to
straight
dodge
up a little
calm
bit
motions.
That was my
It'll take a little bit of work. It won't be long, but I think it'll make a bit.
It's a short rest. All I'm trying to do is shave off some weight. Right?
Yeah, basically, and keep the balance at the very least without brittling the metal.
What attribute are we using? Strength?
Agility, because this is delicate work, so 20. Fine. Yeah, you make some progress. It'll take you a little bit more time. You'd be better off if you had a forge.
You're basically taking the hook to a grinding wheel right now.
Yeah, essentially. And you're trying to grind it down without making the metal too brittle to use. So
Working on doing it. I took the Abomination's chain hooks. I got one of them here. One of them. Alright.
so you take a couple hours of short rest.
Take a look, see how the field is looking at the moment.
About 45 minutes into your short rest, Poltira took to the field. And beyond that, you can see that the fighting is definitely picking up.
Is there can we plot a course from sort of looking out, watching? Can we plot a course that would get us to where we're trying to go?
Make me a perception check.
That's a 4.
Perception or investigation, whoever would like to.
That'd still be a 4.
23.
Nice.
Man, I'm out of it. I can't roll a 12. That's a 12, yeah, 18.
I rolled a 21. Wait, that's back.
He can roll a 21.
Just out of it.
Yeah, but you can't roll it nice.
He can. He just can't use it.
Just can't let her know which dice
So you see, I got a 36. 5th edition? Especially not that one either.
That's hard to do at level 6, 5th edition. In fact, it's impossible.
I'm sure there's some cheese build that can get a 36 on something.
The highest you could get.
You can get a 36 on stealth if you've got expertise in stealth and someone casts Path Without a Trace.
Absolutely. But the highest you can get at level 7 would be, if you got expertise in stealth, so that, let's see, you've got 20 dex, expertise in stealth, so that'd be...
Plus 6, so that'd be...
Plus 6, plus 5,
that'd be
that's
plus
11,
11.
plus 10, so if you rolled a natural 20, you would get a...
41.
You get a 41. So yeah, you get
Yeah, it's higher than 36.
It's higher than 36, it's true.
So you could get 36 on something.
If you are a rogue, if you are somebody with expertise in stealth, somebody else that casts Pass Without a Trace, and you're
High agility, you just need one high agility bar.
You had a 20 dexterity and
I mean, what level is Pass Without Trace?
Second.
second level spell.
So that could just be an arcane trickster. Boom.
Yeah, entirely possible.
Just a potent, like either an arcane trickster rogue or just a really agility heavy bard.
Yeah. Yes. You could get plus 40 at level 7 in that case.
But yes.
Aside from that, though.
Yes. So, you, Mr. Priestman,
Yep.
Mr.
can see
Said just like that.
a theoretical way to make it through without getting into any of the fights if you can thread the needle and be very quiet.
That's how
really well oiled.
I can catch Redudius on the Coda Beast if they're...
Yeah, that would
Game.
reduce the
wagon.
cart. Now you just have two small Coda beasts failing to pull a cart.
Well,
No, you reduce the robot so that it has less weight.
So wagon. I can reduce the whole... Can't do the whole thing, though. I guess you won't. There's one item, essentially.
I mean, the steam suit's probably by far the heaviest thing on it.
One independent object.
Or just keep me out front from the zombies.
Let's just give him that dash. It's not going to be over this.
Yeah. Hold sword out. Let's make a grappling hook for Shawnee's Shiana's calls of attack.
What's the Simpsons thing? I'm gonna swing my sword back and forth, and you're in the way, and it's not my fault.
Yeah. We'll make a grappling hook for Shiana's calls of attack, and we'll just Batman on this. I mean, I've got a hook. Alright. Let's go.
Yep.
Right.
I think that's the sound Kodo's making.
No, it's not.
He's not writing it.
I'm not writing code. I was doing. Who can't help me in battle with a desire?
So, what are you intending to do? Try and be quiet?
Just keep moving. If we get into hit him out of way.
I mean,
Are you even going to attempt to move quietly?
how loud is this
Technically-
wagon?
I have
Technically,
disadvantage on my
you can't.
stealth. I have a disadvantage on my stealth at 0.
Yeah.
I have a stealth of 0 as well. Stealth of 0, stealth of worse than 0.
Stealth of 0 with
Stealth
disadvantage.
of Kodo Beast.
You can try. You can always try.
Let's try.
Let's try, and as soon as we fail, we just make a mad dash.
You know,
take
we-
long to
we-
take
we-
my
we
armor off?
formed the,
You wear medium armor, it takes about 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
I wouldn't recommend taking it.
Why not?
For the likelihood of failure, it's better that you have armor.
Because
for
I'm
when
not
you get
taking
the
my
weight.
plate armor off.
No,
I have
so
a thing that I can put it on as a
flying
bonus
wedge.
action.
Yeah, he it doesn't matter if he takes his armor off.
You go up
I
front.
can put it back on with the
Yeah, those two on each side. We do a flying wedge.
and
Wagon in
so
the
that
middle.
way I can get rid of the
Just
disadvantage
move.
I would get.
Oh no, sorry,
Anything that's in the
sorry.
way
Getting
is
it off
just
is a lot
knocked out.
faster. Sorry, medium armor takes 5 minutes to put on and 1 minute to get off.
Yeah.
Though, people on the cart wouldn't have to make stealth checks, would they?
As long as the cart makes the stealth check.
Start
yes,
that card.
but-
Yeah, makes sense. I mean,
Flying wedge formation, let's go.
yes, just
Just oil the wheel.
do the flying wedge.
Just squeeze the wheel.
You're on a wagon. I get in my suit and
Just
we're on
sword out,
Yeah,
run.
we just make the dash. If they want to try to slow us down,
Because they get
It's-
blown away by radiant energy.
it's their problem, not mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does not like that.
The child does not approve of
Let's
this.
go.
But as you
Are we technically rolling stealth?
I rolled a 3.
Can I roll stealth?
Are we rolling
Oh,
stealth?
I'm not rolling stealth. I'm not stealth.
I have good stealth. Are we rolling stealth?
you want to roll stealth?
You don't need to roll stealth.
We are going to fail to roll stealth, so let's just assume.
Technically, yeah, technically the Kodo Beast makes so much noise anyway, he cannot.
Yeah.
He does not, he is negated from making a stealth check.
We're on the blockade.
We just.
20 on the die, 30 for stealth.
You're hiding in the cart expertly.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm invisible.
Yeah,
She and I are the only two that are gonna make a stealth check.
The 3/4 of an orc.
I didn't say it this time.
Right?
See, it's handy because you can
No,
just
I
lean
can't-
that shoulder
I can't
into
kill
the
the
side of
DM
cart.
though.
But the orc rogue disappears into sort of the washout of this battlefield and sort of runs the outside and just kind of maneuvers among rubble and debris as she keeps
so
an
she
eye
is
out.
Does that mean this party has 2 1/4 orcs?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, because, yeah.
Half an orc, 3/4 of an orc.
That is not my name.
No, it's not.
3/4 of an orc in a
If you
trench coat?
continue to call me that.
I don't intend to.
Okay. Not good things will happen to you.
Please, I'm the one who offered you the character. I'm not gonna make fun of you all the time for it. But
Rudy has him.
I only make an occasional recognition of my sister. Just as my brother makes several jokes at me all the time.
I just make really, I save them up and make really, really good. I charge my music.
So,
Charging pun lasers aside.
as you begin to make your way through the battlefield that lies ahead of you, that is where we will go ahead and begin.
Say goodnight.
Good night.
Farewell.
Bye.